Hello students, welcome back to the Gokhale Education Society's online lecture series. Today we are going to start chapter 2, that is silk. Let us see points to be studied in this chapter. Historical information of the silk fiber, countries producing silk fiber, types of silk fiber, manufacturing process of silk fiber, properties of silk fiber, uses of silk fiber and applicability of silk fibers in day-to-day life. In this session, we are going to learn about introduction, historical information of the silk fiber and manufacturing process of silk fiber. So, let us study one by one in detail. In last chapter, that is wool, we have already revised about classification of fibers, and from that it is clear that wool and silk are natural fibers and both are obtained from animals. Being an animal fiber, they are also termed as protein fiber. So, student, silk is natural fiber because it is obtained from or collected from nature. Then silk is animal fiber because it is obtained from worm. Silk is protein fiber. Silk is produced by certain caterpillars. Silk is filament fiber. Here, what do you mean by filament? All of you know that according to the length, there are two types of fibers: staple fibers and filament fibers. Short length fibers are called as staple fibers, and the fibers which have long in length are called as filament fibers. As silk is long, it is termed as filament fiber. And the last point is silk is often called as queen of fabrics. Then let us see about historical information of silk fibers. History records the Chinese as the first people who knew how to raise silkworms. And again, Chinese are the first who manufacture silk and make cloth from the filaments of silk. It was discovered in China about 2600 BC, about 1765 BC. The mulberry tree was cultivated to provide food for the silkworm. About 300 AD, Japan obtained the formula and today is the chief producer and exporter of quality silk. Then gradually silk production spread across Asia into India and eventually Persia, Southern Europe, Spain, Italy and France. Now let us study about silk producing countries. Japan was the first country which produced silk in large quantities. Today, Japan has been ranked highest in the production of silk. Then other silk producing countries are China, India, Korea, Iran, Spain, Italy, France, Austria, Turkey, Greece, Syria, Bulgaria, Brazil, Poland, Russia, Peru and Indonesia. In India, important states which produce silk are Karnataka, Andhra Pradesh, Tamil Nadu, West Bengal, Assam, Manipur. Apart from these states, silk is also produced in Kashmir, Himachal Pradesh, Uttar Pradesh and Nagaland. Student, I hope you understand me. Now let us proceed to another point, that is manufacturing process of silk. There are 4 steps in manufacturing process of silk. First is called as sericulture, then filature operation, then degumming and wetting. Now let us see one by one. What is sericulture? Sericulture is the technique of rearing of silkworms for the production of cocoons for their filament is sericulture. Now 2 types of silks are produced. First is cultivated silk and second is wild silk. Now let us see what is cultivated silk and wild silk. Cultivated silk means that silk which is harvested from worms raised in captivity and fed an exclusive diet of mulberry leaves. Here, captivity means it is a place that you cannot escape from. Then what is wild silk? Silk which is harvested from silkworms that grow in the wild and eat a diet of whatever plant food is available to them. Means from this it is clear that cultivated silkworms are fed on mulberry leaves and wild silkworms are fed on the plants, any plants which is available. Then these worms are fed on mulberry leaves are called as Bombyx mori. So Bombyx mori are the species from which this cultivated silk is obtained. Then let us see about sericulture in detail. So what is sericulture? Sericulture means it is the technique of rearing of silkworm for the production of cocoons for their filament is sericulture. Now during sericulture the silkworm passes through 4 stages of development, that are eggs, worm, cocoon and moth. Under scientific breeding, silkworm may be hatched 3 times a year. Now let us see one by one the 4 stages of silkworm, means eggs, worm, then cocoons and moth. Now first is eggs. This silkworm lives for very short time, that is only about 2 months, and during this period it passes through 4 stages. I already know the names of 4 stages, that are eggs, worm, cocoons and moth. Then eggs. The female moth lays 350 to 400 eggs on special cards and die. Special cards means special papers. So special papers are provided to lay eggs for the female moth, and after laying egg it die. Regarding size, the eggs is about the size of pinhead. Then after that these cards are examined and infected eggs are burned and only healthy eggs are allowed to hatch. Then next stage is worm, or it may be called as caterpillar or larvae. The eggs develop into larva or caterpillar or silkworm. A tiny white worm about 1/4 inch long is hatched from each tiny eggs. The larva requires careful nurturing in the controlled atmosphere for approximately 20 to 30 days. And during this period it is fed 5 times a day on chopped mulberry leaves. Means chopped mulberry leaves is the food provided to this worm. After 4 shadings of skin or molting, the worm reaches full growth. At this stage it is smooth and greyish white caterpillar about 3 to 3.5 inches long. At the end of 30 days, the worm shrinks somewhat in size and the color becomes pinkish and transparent. Then it ceases to eat, means it stops eating and attach itself to a piece of straw and begin to spin cocoon. Here cocoon means the home of this caterpillar. Now let us see about the cocoon. 2 filaments are ejected from the mouth of the silkworm. This silkworm secretes a protein-like substance and with a bending motion The filament is spun around the worm in the form of figure 8. Means these worms spun the cocoon by uh, spun the cocoon in the figure of 8. Then this worm completes the cocoon in about 3 days. The filament is in the form of double strand and made up of fibroin. Fibroin, it is nothing but it is a silk protein which is held together by a gummy substance called sericin. Means sericin is a gum-like substance by which these double strands which are made up of fibroin are held together. Student, I suggest you that for better understanding, refer videos on spinning of cocoon so that you will get clear idea about cocoons. The filaments then harden when exposed to air. The worm is caught inside the cocoon and remain there for a few days. And this is called the pupa stage. So what do you mean by pupa? Pupa means the worm inside the cocoon is called as pupa. Then next stage is moth. The pupa turns into moth. Means pupa which is inside the cocoon, after few days it turns into moth. Means like a butterfly. The moths emerge from cocoon by secreting an alkaline liquid that dissolves the filament and thus pursing the cocoon. Pursing means breaking the cocoon and breed. The female moth then lay eggs and die. Their cycle of life is completed here. Student, I hope you got the concept life cycle of silkworm very well. So this is all about sericulture, means silkworm, life cycle of silkworm, and I hope after watching some videos you must have understand detail about sericulture. Then next we will revise what we have studied in this session. We have studied about historical information of the silk fiber, silk producing countries, then sericulture, and in sericulture 4 stages. First is eggs, second is worm or caterpillar, then cocoon and moth. Now let us see the assignment. Here 3 questions are given. First is define the term sericulture. I already told you that what do you mean by sericulture. I revise here again. The technique of rearing of silkworm for the production of cocoons for their filament, means for the silk, is termed as sericulture. Then next question is draw diagram of life cycles of silkworm. Here in this video the diagram is given, so you must draw this diagram in your notebook and label the diagram. Then third is write about cocoons. So what is cocoon? Cocoon is the home of this silkworm and which is made from fibroin and sericin. Fibroin means it is silk protein and sericin means it is gummy substance. So from these two cocoons is formed. So here we study about 3 points, that is introduction, history of silk fibers, historical information about silk fiber, and manufacturing of silk fibers, that is sericulture. I hope you understand it better. Thank you very much.